my dad for.
We are honored to provide you with a dignified way to be present, even from afar, to remember, reflect, and celebrate the life of a loved one. As we prepare to begin the stream, we ask you to take a moment to create a peaceful and respectful environment around you. Please switch your phone to silent or do not disturb mode. This helps you stay present without interruptions from calls or messages.
2.
Find a comfortable, quiet place to sit. Feel free to light a candle, hold a photo, or invite someone close to sit beside you. This is your moment to connect and remember. Our stream will begin shortly. You may see a short pause or holding screen before the ceremony begins. This is normal. Our team is working in the background to ensure everything runs smoothly. During the stream, we kindly ask you to keep background noise to a minimum. If you are watching with others, please speak in hushed tones. For the best viewing experience, ensure you are connected to a stable Wi-Fi network. If the video pauses or buffers, don't worry. You can refresh the page or wait a moment as it stabilizes. This service is not just about technology. It is about presence, memory, love. Whether you're in the next room or another country, your presence here matters. Thank you for trusting Military Funeral streaming. We are with you to honor, remember, and connect.
Try and get in the farm fitting whenever I can.
Okay. There must be a market for that.
But also far too many people like me who are after that sort of work.
Yeah.
I just got back from 3 weeks in Mozambique, which house sitting on Lake Chibaya.
Right. Good morning and welcome to this memorial service for the celebration of life for Nick Fawcett. May I remind you all, please, to switch off or put on silent your cell phones. I'm very grateful to his family for asking me to conduct this service in view of my very long friendship with Nick. Could we bow our heads, please? We'll say a few words from Job. I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that in the end he will stand upon the earth. I myself will see him with my own eyes, I and not another. And from Deuteronomy, the eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And from St. John, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I am going there to prepare a place for you. And now just a short reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, starting at verse 1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, and a time to die. A time to plant, and a time to uproot. A time to kill, and a time to heal. A time to tear down, and a time to build. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn, and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones, and a time to gather them. A time to embrace, and a time to refrain. A time to search, and a time to give up. A time to keep, and a time to give up. A time to tear, and a time to mend. A time to be silent, and a time to speak. A time to love, and a time to hate. A time for war, and a time for peace. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on men. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from the beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and do good while they live. That very man may eat and drink, find satisfaction in all his toil. This is the gift of God. I think it's now time for the hymn. Your song, Catherine.
Dad asked me to play the song for him today. I've never played without him. So my sister said that if I falter, she's going to take over. So I hope for your sakes and pray that I can keep it together. Bless the Lord of my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I'll worship your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord of my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I'll worship your holy name. You're rich in love and you're slow your heart is kind. For all your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship his holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I'll worship your holy name. Yes, I'll worship your holy name. You made it.
Well done, Kath. That was beautiful. Well done. I first met Nick at Peterhouse when we were new boys in 1959. We were in the same house, Paget, and became lifelong friends. Despite the stricture of school life, it didn't do much to curb our naughtiness. We didn't apple pie beds. On several occasions, we destroyed whole dormitories. And imagine having to make all those beds again. We goaded each other with quite unprintable names. Mick Holderness joined us in this unholy alliance, having met Nick on the tennis court. He became known to us as the Bum, as he used to come over to Paget from Grinham and scrounge the tuck supplied by our mothers. Thus a third member of a lifelong friendship was established, which has lasted to this day. During the holidays, tea at the Fawcett's in their Avondale home was an occasion and delicious, as were their curries. A huge photograph of the Himalayan peak, Kanchenjunga, dominated the passage, perhaps an inspiration to Nick and his love for hills and mountains. After 6 years of school, the three of us embarked on camping trips. The first was to Paradise Pools near Bandura. Seeking greater adventure, we then moved on to the Gairezi River at Inyanga, where we camped on numerous occasions. Then we decided to go international, and we headed off to Beira, where we camped on the beach at the Estoril. After dinner, and possibly too much vino in Beira town, we'd repair to the campsite, and feeling a little warm and in need of a cool down, we'd strip off and run starkers down the sand dune into the sea in an effort to escape the rotating beam of the nearby lighthouse. Such was life for the unemployed. Then came work. Nick joined the army. After university, I joined the civil service, and Mick headed off to Rhodes and became an actuary. But that was not the end of our fun. We had taken a keen interest in girls. Nick and I went on camping trips with them to Inyanga and the Chimanimani Mountains. I have a lovely photo of Sue stoking sticks for a fire up in the chims while Nick and I looked on very casually. If chivalry was dead, that certainly was it. In 1972, Nick and Sue decided to get married. In fact, their 54th wedding anniversary was yesterday. I was their best man, and his brother Tim had painted the word help on the soles of his shoes when he knelt at the altar. The reception was in the RLI officers' mess, after which they flew on honeymoon to Europe. We went on a number of escapades around the country. To Kariba on a large boat called the Ningi, which was formerly the Gloria, which we shared with Nick, Mick, and Rowley, his doctor. Once he took his canoe along too, and that, with a speedboat and our yacht, comprised the fleet on several of our expeditions. Sue collected plants and was a keen bird watcher. She even spotted the rare yellow-bellied dog gobbler. Inyanga was another favourite haunt, and Nick and Sue stayed at our cottage near Pungwi Falls on a number of occasions. Kath had her wedding reception on the lawn there after marrying Andrew Savory. Tish Francis, Jenny's mother-in-law, set an immaculate table with their lovely family silver, as well as providing guests with a terrific meal. Nick made an excellent speech, as always, played his guitar, and what a fine time was had by all. They also visited Mana Pools quite often, and that was another favourite place for them, where the Fawcetts and Jenny got married there, married John O'Francis, and appropriately named their eldest daughter Mana. Nick joined Anglo-American after he left the army. First it was at the colliery at Wangi, where he was training manager, and then to Border Timbers in Matari, which followed by him becoming the boss of Mazoe Citrus Estates. While there, he converted part of the estate into a game park called Manzo, where he built 3 A-frame cottages and a small pool. It was a lovely spot for weekend visits, and we enjoyed the plains game, the giraffes, and the 4 elephants, which we were even allowed to feed. From there they went back to Border Timbers, where they had previously established a home. Here he was the managing director. It suited them being close to Inyanga, the Chimani-Manis, and Gonorrhea. Nick finally joined the Eastern Highlands Tea Estate as general manager. It was a tough job with many ups and downs, but rewarding in the sense that their huge house overlooked Inyangani, rising some 5,000 feet from the Hondi Valley. When we were over 60 years old, Nick decided we would climb the mountain from their nearby house. The old adage, prior preparation and proper planning prevents piss-poor performance, is an accolade that I would ascribe to Nick. Preliminary dumping of rations and pits, which we dug in the various camping spots identified by him, was necessary. Nick and I did most of the digging, and there were a few tracks, mainly we bundu bashed. At one spot near the Nyazengu Falls, where we were preparing for the trip, we came across a huge pug mark in the firebreak at the foot of the mountain. It dwarfed outspread Nick's hand. It was absolutely huge. Anyway, we got our team together and we climbed the mountain. We went across it and we went back to the Hondi Valley, and it was a wonderful experience. Apart from the tea side of things, Nick did much work in establishing the hydroelectric systems in the area whereby power was fed into the national grid. When he retired from the estate, Nick was not one to do nothing, so he scouted around and was appointed chairman of the Malalangwe Trust, adjacent to Gonerijo, a perfect post for one so keen on the outdoors and game conservation. I think Malalangwe was probably Nick's favourite place. He loved working there on his numerous visits. Twice we stayed at Nduna Lodge with them and the Holdernesses, and such marvellous trips when we saw everything, even the Big Five. But his happiest times were always with his family, with Sue and the 3 girls. They were truly the love of his life, and he would do anything for them and their families. Skilled with tools, he was very much a do-it-yourself man, especially gifted in carpentry, and he helped them very often. Yesterday evening, I had a letter forwarded to me from Mike Saunders, the managing director of Malalangwe, and I'll read it. Dearest Nick, while I am unable to be present today, I want to thank you again for the 14 years of guidance, partnership, fun, and excellent stewardship in your role as chairman at Malalangwe. I valued our debates, our intercessions, and your steady hand oftentimes cultivated a platform from which wise decisions were made. Thank you, Nick, from the entire Malalangwe family. Go well, and I will think of you with a smile when I see a yellow Land Rover. The exact Land Rover is there. We will remember you friendly, always, Tatenda Kesili. Could I now call upon Rick Pasaporus and Pat Armstrong to speak to us on Nick's military service? Thanks.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is indeed an absolute privilege and an honor for me to be standing here to give the military tribute to an officer and a gentleman who impacted on me hugely, because he was in actual fact my course officer when I attended the military School of Infantry as an officer cadet. And I can tell you that Nick, oh, here we go. Nick didn't teach me this. Fumble, fumble. Right. Can I start again? As I was saying, Nick might have been small in stature, but let me tell you, when he gave me a bollocking, I reduced from 6'6" to 3'3". He was a man of absolute integrity and an officer that all of us on course Inf 2515 wanted to emulate. But it was a serious set of shoes for us to try and fill. But it was an absolute honor and a privilege to have Nick as our course officer. What an example to young officer cadets who aspired to become officers. So as I said, it is absolutely my privilege, and thank you, Sue and family, for giving me this opportunity. Pat Armstrong, who's made the trip all the way up from South Africa to be at his friend's memorial today, will follow me with a few words. A giant has fallen today, though short in stature. Lieutenant Colonel Nick Fawcett, OLM, BCR, MFC, was truly a man amongst men. After a long and courageous battle with cancer, he has succumbed. Yet, true to his character, he never gave up. He remained positive throughout, spending much of his exciting life on lengthy, arduous treks, mountain climbs across the world with his beloved wife, close companion, supporter and best friend, Sue. In his military career, Nick spent 1966 on an officer cadets course at the School of Infantry in Gwelo. He was awarded the Sword of Honour, beating all his colleagues by a country mile. He was known to many as one of the finest and most capable officers and leaders of men, imbued with humble yet commanding presence. Had Zimbabwe's political scenario turned out differently, Nick would surely have later commanded the army. His military career was marked with distinction. Awarded the Bronze Cross of Rhodesia for bravery and action as a subaltern in One Commander RLI, and he subsequently went on to become the adjutant while still a lieutenant. Unprecedented. An unprecedented achievement, and he later ran the regular officer cadets course at the School of Infantry, of which I was a member. Nick became a company commander in the RAR, where he was awarded the Officer of the Legion of Merit for, among other achievements, taming the Hondi Valley in the Eastern Highlands. In 1978, saw Nick selected for the South African Army Staff College, and he relished the intellectual exchange and friendship forged. In November 1980, he was appointed the commanding officer of the new Zimbabwe National Army 1 Commander Battalion, which was formed from the RLI. A demanding job at this delicate time of transition, and Nick, true to his form, was admired by all sides of the spectrum. Nick was liked, revered and respected by his men, his peers and his superiors throughout his career in the army. His leadership, courage and humanity left an indelible mark on all who served with him. Before I hand over to Colonel Pat Armstrong, I will give you a message sent by Colonel Jeremy Strong, who served with Nick in the RLI. And he starts off with, "Greater love hath no man than this, that he share his sleeping bag with a friend." That line perfectly sums up my friend Nicholas Galloway Clifford Fawcett, Galloway to us all. On a cold, wet winter's night on operations, Nick very kindly offered me a place in his sleeping bag after I had foolishly forgotten to pack my own. Up until this point, Nick and I followed similar paths in our army careers. We were both commissioned together, served in the Rhodesian Light Infantry, he in 1 Commander and I in 3 Commander. We represented both the regiment and the army at cricket, and he set standard for us all when he was awarded the Bronze Cross of Rhodesia for gallantry in action. In 1968, we were summoned by the commanding officer and sent on a top-secret mission into northern Mozambique with an SAS tracking team. After flying in overnight and picking up enemy tracks, we bedded down, still on the spoor. As the temperature dropped and then the rain began, Nick, being the gentleman he was, shared his sleeping bag with me. It was an act of generosity I never forgot, and one we laughed about for many years afterwards, the night we shared the same sack together. Our careers stayed closely aligned after that, including 2 years as instructors at the School of Infantry in Gwelo, followed by Staff College in Pretoria. An intense, demanding years that forged long-lasting friendships with members of the SADF, including our good friends Marius and Corina Olschig. Together, we then took up positions at Army headquarters until independence in 1980. These are just a few of the memories I treasured of my comrade in arms and dear friend. Rest in peace, Shamwari. Tribute from Marius Olschig, Major General, retired South African Army Staff Corps. This is not a eulogy. These are just a few words meant to convey the profound esteem that I have for the departed comrade and friend. I was privileged to spend an entire year, which felt like 5, in the company of 3 Rhodesian officers, Jerry Strong, Chris Pearce, and Nick Fawcett. As we underwent a grueling South African Army Command and Staff course in 1978 at the Army Staff College in Pretoria, only those who've endured similar privation will know that, therefore, scarred and seasoned, comrades for life. It was William Wordsworth who, in his epic poem in 1806, first attempted to describe the character of a happy warrior. It's not my intention here to repeat the entire poem, merely to give the final 5 lines that I find so relevant to present circumstances. I will forever remember and regard Nick and most other Rhodesian soldiers of my acquaintance as a happy warrior. But who is this happy warrior? Finds comfort in himself and his cause, and while the mortal mist is gathering, draws his breath and confidence of heaven's applause. This is the happy warrior. This is he that every man in arms should wish to be. It's definitely not my intention to compete with William Wordsworth, who never in his life would have met a real live Rhodesian soldier. Nevertheless, please allow me to add my own elegiac tribute, especially as I considered Nick Fawcett to have been the very epitome of that so distinctive bunch of truly happy warriors. I composed the following verse specifically for this occasion, and I would like to now dedicate it to our departed brother-in-arms, a proud and loyal Rhodesian soldier to the very marrow of his bones. Titled A Special Breed of Man. Dedicated to the memory of Lieutenant Colonel Nicholas Galloway Fawcett, OLM BCR MFC, formerly of the Rhodesian Light Infantry and the Rhodesian African Rifles. What makes a young soldier want to spend his adult life in service of a dream? A vision that but for few may comprehend, a world where all God's creatures are esteemed. It buds when love of countries first is taught. It blooms as peace and freedom are enjoyed. The stirrings in a warrior's soul are wrought when threads emerge that such might be destroyed. A special breed of man will then arise, his simple creed, defend the free or die. A sacred mission that good sense defies, but his core and courage testify. I knew such a man in years gone by, his loyalty and faith beyond compare. A fine friend and comrade hard to find, whose passion for the cause he freely shared. When others squandered triumphs that he had bought, his honour such that he persisted yet. The ardent guardian who arose and fought, whose devotion to his quest will ne'er be met. While lesser men might view him with disdain, those who served beside him were in awe. His sacrifice and valour will remain as beacons in the grim array of war. Rest in peace, my friend. You were a very special breed of man. I salute you from the shadow of the Canadian Rockies. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you for this opportunity to address you. Gallows, I don't know you're around. I didn't know I was on the program to speak. So I had to borrow a beret from my friend Panashe, which is of another regiment which I served in, but I was hoping to wear an RLI beret where I served with Nick. Anyway.
There you go, Pat.
Yeah, this is a bit flea-bitten, but it's seen a lot of service, so that's what's important. How does that look? You don't want to look at the top. There's holes there from the moths. But yeah, now I feel better. I just want to share a few moments, personal memories
from one of Nick's very best friends, Peter and Jenny Mincher. And Peter and Nick and I were on the same officer cadets course, where, as you've heard, he got the Sword of Honor by a country mile. So just these are a couple of, I suppose you could call them war stories, but they're not really. I don't tell war stories. Early on in our officer cadet course, we undertook a grueling endurance march in the Decca area of the Zambezi Valley, which many of you will know, about 80 miles long, although Peter insisted it was only 50. I was part of next group of 4, and so I'm entitled to storyteller's license, but I'll tell you it was 80 anyway. Being just before the war days, we were only allowed 5 live rounds for our rifles. We were officer cadets per group, in case of encountering dangerous wild animals, nothing to do with the enemy. They hadn't arrived yet. And I happened to be entrusted with keeping them in one magazine. One night, Nick was on sentry duty, and he suspected a way out in the middle of nowhere, and he suspected a leopard was lurking close by. He says he battled feverishly to wake me from a deep sleep and said, "Where are the live rounds?" And I couldn't find the magazine in my kit. Fortunately, the leopard lost interest, but I was severely rebuked by my old friend for my lack of preparedness, which he would never have found himself in that position. Then a little bit of a war story. In 1968, during the war now, I arrived with my troop, my RLI troop, as reinforcements. But sadly for me, minutes after Nick's troop had concluded a fierce contact with the enemy. It was for this action that Nick earned his Bronze Cross for bravery and cool, astute, tactical leadership in action, which I saw the aftermath of. I'll never forget Nick's remarkably calm demeanor as he commanded the aftermath of what many here will know to be a hugely stressful and life-threatening event in the fog of war. I was watching from the sidelines, very jealous that I wasn't involved. It was a wonderful example of leadership and of coolness in a crisis to all of us there. I was then about 21. It stood me in great stead later. Finally, on cadet course, Nick taught himself to play a 12-string guitar. I was checking today, I see you off the 12 strings, only the normal, and then he had all those clamps too. Anyway, he was very good, and I recall many, often inebriated, memorable sing-songs accompanied by Nick on his guitar in the officer cadets mess, and later in the RLI officers mess, and later in other places. R.I.P. Nick Fawcett, a man in a million, a devoted family man, and brave and fearless soldier. the finest officer. He will be greatly missed. Peter Mincher, his other friend who I mentioned earlier, was asked to write a few stories about Nick. So between us we put something together, and so I'll read what Peter said. A few funny stories. Almost 60 years ago to this day, I first met Nick when we began our officer cadet training at the School of Infantry in Gweru. Our friendship grew from then and continued throughout our military service and beyond. Nick was a very close and true friend of mine and will be sorely missed. He was a man of impeccable integrity and always set extremely high standards. During our time in the RLI, Nick and I were selected for the Army hockey team to compete at a festival in Salisbury. It was only at this point that I realized what an excellent hockey player Nick was, and no doubt at other sports too. That I can confirm. He was a fine cricketer as well, as a squash player and a few other things. He was really good on the squash court, the tennis court, wherever. Must have learnt that at Peter House. Yeah. As young officers, Nick was appointed to the very important position of adjutant. As was mentioned earlier, this was an executive role made far more difficult for him, as most of the officers now under his control, for discipline reasons, were of the same rank. And as he once said, the guys treated me very kindly. He was that good. One morning, the regimental sergeant major approached Nick and asked him to request that I remove the baby crocodiles that I was keeping in the officers' mess single quarters. He had heard that I had thrown one into the bathwater of our colleague, one of our colleagues, Steve Carey, by the way, the night before. I don't remember that, but Peter goes on, Nick confronted me in his normal diplomatic but firm manner. He conveyed the message from the RSM. The next day, I released the crocodiles into the Makabuzi River, a short distance from the back gate of the RLI barracks. A small moment, perhaps, but one that revealed Nick's calm authority, his measured leadership, and the humble strength that so naturally drew others to follow. So, here endeth my story. Thank you very much.
And now can I ask the girls to come up and give their contributions to this service today. Thanks.
To every person here today, Dad was someone different. Some remember him as a brother in arms, others the steady hand on the tiller of management. To some, a fearless adventurer, a true gentleman, small in stature, but a giant of a man. Strongly principled, stoic, enthusiastic, and optimistic. But to us, he was simply Dad. He may have been interviewed as one of the brave fighting men of Rhodesia, but at home we feared Sergeant Sue far more. Dad was a big softie. When Mum would yell, "You've got 3 to get into bed, 1, 2, 3, Dad on duty would lean on the doorframe saying 9.5, 9 3/4. He was fiercely proud and completely biased of his 3 daughters. He used to say when we were younger that any man who doesn't love one of my girls must have something seriously wrong with him. Yesterday, you heard, would have been Mum and Dad's 54th wedding anniversary. Sue and Nick and Sue, always joined at the hip. So much so that it was almost impossible to find pictures of Dad on his own for this occasion. She was always by his side. They were just teenagers when they became friends. Once Dad mentioned that he was doing a boys' hike up the Chimani-Manis, and Mum asked to join. Dad said yes, on one condition. Keep up, and no whinging. Mum bolted ahead of the pack, and Dad knew in that moment he had found his perfect match. In all our lives, we never heard them say a single harsh word to one another. Not one. They were best friends, always laughing and always a team. Soulmates in the truest sense, leaving our poor husbands with impossibly high expectations to achieve. Dad was immensely talented. He was a gifted public speaker. He would have delivered this eulogy flawlessly without notes. We are such a disappointment. Always a perfectionist, we hated Dad on our Pictionary team because he always took ages to draw these detailed masterpieces as the timer was running out. Dad treated everyone with respect, no matter what their station in life. He was an environmentalist, deeply community-spirited, and he was on the board of Outward Bound, a trustee of Anglo-American Pension Fund, and he helped run the Blue Cross for the SPCA for 9 years. He wrote and published a book. He could play every sport, including rugby, but sadly not all of his grandchildren followed in his footsteps. I remember recently when we watched a Colts D cricket match, he leaned over and said, "I won't live longer, but it sure as hell feels like it." Dad was a linguist. He could speak Shona, French. He attempted Arabic, Nepalese, and Urdu. He had a photographic memory, and he was incredibly musical. He could sing, play the guitar, and the harmonica. But more than anything, he played the fool. Dad had a contagious laugh. He did hilarious impressions, and he was wickedly funny right to the end. He even asked Peggy, the lady from the funeral parlor, what would happen to him when he died. She said, well, one option was to go from the morgue to the crematorium and then from the crematorium to your memorial, to which he replied, I'm not sure I can manage all of that in one day. I'd be exhausted. That was Dad, courageous, devoted, humble, and kind. 1,000,000 feelings, 1,000 thoughts, 100 memories, one extraordinary man, our Dad.
Let's see, over this. Dad was an adventurer and a true outdoorsman. No mountain was off limits, and well into his 70s, he and Mum were still up for joining us on expeditions to the Himalayas, the Ruwenzori Mountains, hikes through the Zambezi Escarpment, the Chimani-Manis, or the Tarako Trail. Dad also preferred to do things the double rugged way. If there was an option to take a porter or carry his own pack, he would always opt for the latter, and by default, Mum would have to do the same. Winter was for Dad's annual canoe trip, which consisted of a 7 to 10 day DIY canoe safari along a chosen stretch of the Zambezi River, with a few farm drivers to ferry the vehicles and hopefully meet us halfway with resupplies. In the absence of a professional guide or even a national park scout, with no firearm and only a paddle to fend off aggressive hippos and marauding lions, we somehow had full faith in Dad to lead these expeditions. Such was the confidence he inspired in people. Any adventure with Dad was approached like a military exercise. Planning was paramount, and in his words, fail to plan and you plan for failure. And time spent on recce is seldom wasted. At the precise ETD, Dad would be ready with all his mini gadgets strapped on, clipped up, powered on, calibrated and ready to go. Binoculars, handheld GPS with spare battery in a Ziploc bag, backup compass and map carefully stowed in plastic, Leatherman, radio, mini hacksaw for bush clearing, cookery knife, mobile or sat phone, and 2 Army-issue water bottles attached to his belt. 2 wooden poles, the bottoms of which he had reinforced with rubber stoppers, were later replaced with carbon fiber hiking poles. Gaiters to keep out the grass seeds, spare bog roll, a couple of discipline and a Parker pen in the top pocket of his 2-tone shirt. If you've ever done a multi-day hike with Mum and Dad, you will know that their lunch consists of 6 savory crackers each and 1 triangle of laughing cow cheese, which they cut in half and share, followed by half a mini Snickers bar. Dinner is 1 packet of 2-minute noodles between 2. It's no wonder that Dad never exceeded regulation height on Mum's meager rations. And he never once complained. My husband Dave would joke that Dad loved a good struggle. He thought nothing of venturing into Gonnerezo National Park in mid-October, driving a Land Rover with no air conditioning in the heat of the day, windows down, letting in the hot wind, all the while sipping on hot tea from a travel mug. When, in Dave's opinion, he could have parked a deck chair in the Rundi River and sipped on a nice cold beer until the cool of the afternoon. But Dad would take heat over cold any day. He despised the cold and would assume what we called his wet bird look if there was even the slightest nip in the air. In a conversation with Peggy, the funeral director, Dad asked if she would please make sure he had a pair of warm socks on before he was transferred to the morgue. Latterly, we joked with him about who he might bump into in heaven, and his reply was, "I think I'd be better off in hell. I need the warmth." The morning after Dad passed away, I came across this poem, and it summed up Dad so perfectly. The poem is called Success, and it's written by Paul Trethowan. To have earned the respect of respectable men, to have slept at night without the weight of a guilty conscience, to have woken without the burden of an unfulfilling job, to have been strong enough to have been independent, but to have loved enough to rely upon a few, to have fulfilled the potential of the talent you were born with, and to have left the world even just a little better than how you found it, to have achieved enough to be proud, and to have been real enough to be modest, to grow old on memories that form a smile, and to live without regrets. This is to have been a success.
Take it out of the packet. Our dad was above all a family man. Mum likes to joke that during my colicky baby days, he chose the welfare of his troops over his screaming daughter, earning himself the OLM for voluntarily giving up his R&R in the line of duty. Once the colic had passed, he was there for us 24 hours a day. Nothing was ever too much. Whatever he was doing could wait if one of us needed his full and undivided attention. He was the glue that held our family together. He could fix anything, from a strained relationship or financial wobble to a pair of binos, a blown geyser, or, of course, the landy. He sometimes said he had a slight reservation about going to heaven because he could picture Grandmama waiting at the pearly gates with her Walkman in pieces. More than fixing things, Dad enabled people. We were not allowed to drive off the farm until we could change a tire on our own. He even taught my husband, who would usually prefer to call in a professional, how to change a geyser element. Dad is the reason my handbag still carries a tire pressure gauge and a multi-tool. How I wish he were here now to fix our broken hearts. He also loved what he called appropriate technology. There were modified bamboo sticks for pressing intercom buttons without having to leave the car, and the legendary Generation 3.1 rooftop tent, secured with remarkable precision using Mum's botanizing garden fork and the Landy bull bars. And Mum, forgive me, but I think his first love may have had 4 wheels. That faithful Landy carried our family and friends to the most remote and beautiful corners of Africa. There was always the straightforward route, the technical route, and then Dad's scenic route, which somehow combined breathtaking views with challenging 4x4 driving. The Landy became an iconic part of our story and a shared legacy for Mum and Dad. Together they kitted it out in a true home away from home, the ultimate unlock and go. We thank the new owner, James, for giving the Landy a loving home and for bringing it here today to honor Dad one last time. May it bring you the same joy and adventure it brought to us. Dad, we will miss handing you that last-minute, oversized, awkwardly shaped bag and watching you somehow find a home for it in the back of the landy. We will miss the sing-songs, Mum's ever-ready tea basket and journey insights, Catherine's character assassinations, Bug's delicious, delectable treats, and your perfectly poured lunchtime G&Ts. You have given us a spirit of adventure that will never fade. By the time we see you again, we know you will already have done a full recce and chosen the best routes, and we look forward to more adventures in paradise. We will not say rest in peace because that sounds far too dull for you. Instead, we say, here's to an eternity of wild adventures. We love you, Dad.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name, 'cause I can't reach out to call you, but I know I will one day, yeah.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, yeah. But everything will be alright. Go with your voice and say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt that all the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, that you know I'll never drop, yeah.
Everybody hurts sometimes, everybody hurts someday, hey, hey. But everything gon' be alright. Go and raise your voice and say, hey.
Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not, 'cause the dreams bring back all those memories of everything we've been through. Close to the ones here today, close to the ones that we lost on the way, 'cause the dreams bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. Do, 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 do. Memories
Please stand for the second hymn. I think there are three words which I think sum up Nick: courage, integrity, and honesty. During his life, he consistently lived by all three. Truly, what a remarkable man, and one with the most tremendous sense of humour, which lasted him up to the last day. Please would you stand for the committal. Into the Lord's most gracious mercy and protection we entrust Nick. We now commit him, earth to earth, ashes to ashes, and dust to dust, in sure and certain hope of his resurrection to eternal life. Inasmuch as we put our trust in you, vouchsafe him a place in the glory of your presence, through Christ our Lord. Amen. Please sit. We pray for those who mourn. Almighty God, Father of all mercies, and giver of all comfort, deal graciously with those who mourn, and especially Sue, Jenny, Kath, and Bug, and their families, and all his many friends, that, casting all their cares on you, they may know the consolation of your love. Rest eternal grant unto him, O Lord, and let light perpetual shine upon him. Amen. And the Celtic prayer for Nick. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. May the rains fall softly on your hills and mountains. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the hollow of his hand. And from the Nunc Dimittis, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace, according to thy word. For mine eyes have seen thy salvation, which thou hast prepared before the face of all people. And finally, the blessing. May the Lord bless us and keep us. May the Lord make his face shine on us and be gracious unto us. May the Lord look kindly on us and give us peace, and especially to Nick. And finally, his own blessing. May God's richest blessings be amongst us and remain with us always. Amen. And now we will have the last post. Please now join the family for refreshments, and thank you for your attendance.
Us today from wherever you are in the world. Your presence, even remotely, was a source of comfort and strength for the bereaved family. As we conclude, we honor a life lived fully, a spirit that touched so many, and a memory that will forever resonate in our hearts. The family deeply appreciates your support, your love, and the kindness you have shown during this difficult time. If you'd like to leave a personal memory or message of condolence, please find the dedicated tribute section below the stream. Your words will be a cherished keepsake for the family. On behalf of Military Funeral Streaming, we thank you once more for connecting with the family today. We now